You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
After some neat and fun short track racing last week at the Nashville Fairgrounds, we go back to another classic racetrack, this one a little bit bigger. It is the 2.5 mile Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the J&M Group Industrial Services 400 here for the SCL Winston Cup Series. Good evening, everybody. My name is Frank Marchese. Thank you very much for making us a part of your evening here tonight. Alongside me, my broadcast partner, Daniel Paulus Jr. And Daniel, a great race last week at the fairgrounds. Again, coming back to a little bit of a bigger racetrack. That it's a short track at Bristol, and then the Old Atlanta to close out this season. We have a very, very tight points race at the top of the pile, which we'll show you in just a moment. But Indianapolis here could be a wild card for some of these drivers.
Could be a wild card indeed, Frank. We do have a tight battle for the points right now, currently. But right here, we're at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It's a very famous racetrack. You know, we have the Brickyard 400. We have the Indy 500. So, you know, you always want to win and put Indianapolis Motor Speedway under your racing resume. It's a 2.5-mile track, and I can't wait to get this green flag going.
Yeah, absolutely. We're about 3 or so minutes away from the green flag. Let's take a look at the point standings here coming into tonight's race. There was a change up atop the point standings with the win from Justin Lewis last week at Nashville. He is now the points leader, but it is by a single point over Lilith Peters. Michael Mattis still very much in it, as is Steven Johnson, as is Trevor Dalton, as is Maxwell Caldwell. So 6 guys really running for this championship in the final 3 races of the season.
Now that we're in the second half of the season, racing starting to wind down a little bit here. We have 2 more tracks to go to, so the point battle is probably going to get even more tighter. And you see these drivers, like you mentioned, top 6 of these drivers are all battling for that championship. So you know they're going to go at each other on the racetrack.
Absolutely. 7 and 8 are also mathematically still very much in it, although they are definitely wild cards here. But going back to Indianapolis on the oval circuit here this time around, NASCAR will be going back to the oval here at Indianapolis starting next season. I'm sure it's going to be a welcome return for a lot of drivers.
It was nice having that road course for the past 3 years, but it's nice to be back on the traditional oval. And that's because, you know, the Brickyard 400 started out on the oval. It produced a lot of great racing for NASCAR fans, a lot of great racing for IndyCar fans as well. So I feel like once you start racing that oval again, it brings back all those memories, and it's never going to die off.
Absolutely. A little bit more to promote as well, as Johnny Wood Jr. currently atop the practice pylon here. 45 seconds to go here in the practice session. Justin Lewis is up there as well. P2, Barrett Flo, Chad Jones, and Steven Johnson, your current top 5, but certainly 22 drivers getting set to take the fields, and there's a chance that we might see some issues with the servers here tonight, knowing that they are going down tomorrow for the 2024 Season 1 update. Could wreak havoc with this race, though fingers crossed we get a good, complete race with no real controversies like we saw with Racers Elite a little bit earlier on this week.
Hoping for no issues here tonight from Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
As we are about to go into the qualifying session here tonight, and again, we will talk a little bit more about the 2024 Season 1 update that will be coming out starting tomorrow, as qualifying getting set to roll off. Let's take a look and see who will be the first driver out on track. It would appear as though it is Mike Peters, who is the first car out on circuit. There he is, car number 95. The Raising Cane's Ford Mustang. He's been missing these last couple of weeks, however, is here for the big race again. 22 drivers set to take on the Indianapolis Motor Speedway here tonight.
22 drivers taking on Indy tonight here. First car out on track. We're going to see how he does here, running that 95, looking very good.
Saw for a moment there Ronnie Hurst also out on track. Maxwell Caldwell out on circuit as well. Let's go to him, the 94 coming out, starting his first lap under time. Everyone should be able to get their 2 laps in quite easily here. Even from now, they should be able to get the 2 laps in without much of an issue. It's Caldwell a little bit wide there through turn 1, going through turn 2. Looking a little bit better as we take a long look down the back straightaway here, the northern part of this racetrack.
You're going to see some of these drivers here on these restarts here entering turns 1 and 2, trying to get a good run off of turn 2. So when they go down that back straightaway, they will use a little bit of draft. Hopefully you can side draft, make a pass going into turn 3. That's where we're probably going to see most of the passes here tonight from Indy. Let's see who is on top of the qualifying leaderboard here with 2:55 to go. So far, it's the 95 of Peters with a 53.13. Second place, Ronnie Hurst with a 53.13.
Johnny Wood Jr. blows them all away at a 52.51. What a run, what a first lap for the 750 again. was on pole, was the fastest car in practice. Chad Jones gets a solid lap, as does Lilith Peters, both of the 52s. As time's starting to trickle in here, second laps are underway. Here's Michael Matta coming across the start-finish line. Where will he put that Ford Bronco? He'll go P9 on his first lap at a 53.64. Brendan Kornoyer goes a 53.21 in the number 55. Mike Peters up to second on his second lap. We'll see what Johnny Wood Jr. can do. He will better his time. It's a 52.32 for the 750. As there's Trevor Dalton out on track. Saw him make a very rare appearance in the Truck Series on Wednesday night at Hickory.
Yeah, we really don't see him in the Truck Series. He makes rare appearances here and there, but I think why not just run extra race, get a few laps in, have some fun with it. Now we're back here on Monday night's Cup Series racing in that 27 machine. Dalton knows he needs to have a good run here tonight. Right now he's currently P7 for 52.76, but right now it looks like the 750 of Johnny Wood Jr. is probably going to get the pole here tonight with just 1 minute remaining in qualifying. But here's the thing, 750, he's always gotten the pole, but he's also executed very well in some of these races. So we're going to have to keep a close eye on that as you see the 7 of Justin Lewis now on track.
Justin Lewis getting up to second at a 52.38, only one within 0.2 of a second of Johnny Wood Jr. As Matthew McMeekin on track, currently 10th fastest in that number 41 Busch Ford. See what he can do on this second lap. Is looking a little bit better than he was on the first go around. He should be the last driver to set time, and McMeekin will go actually a little bit slower here on the second lap. Lost it on the second half of the lap. 52.94, about a half a tenth slower for McMeekin on his second lap. So that will settle the pole for Johnny Wood Jr. here for this race. So we will take a look now at the starting grid here for tonight's race. Johnny Wood Jr. with a time of 52.320 will sit on the pole. Justin Lewis, about a half a tenth off, will line up to the outside of row number 1. Chad Jones and Steven Johnson will make up row number 2. Lilith Peters and Mike Peters in row 3. Row 4 will see Ronnie Hurst and Trevor Dalton. Maxwell Caldwell and Matthew McMeekin will sit in row 5. Row 6 will see Barrett Flo and Michael Matta. Row 7 will go to Raymond Kimmel and Jeremy Flanagan. Brendan Kornoyer and Jason Crumley will sit in row number 8. Zach Lockett will make his debut here in this series. Jonathan Casebeer will line up next to him in row 9. Jack Sanders and Austin Call will make up row number 10, with Eric Schaus and Derek Wegman rounding out the 22-car field here this evening. Take a look at the weather conditions here for tonight's race. We are just degrees. Now, turns 1 and turns 3 are usually pretty difficult to get around here normally. Add a big tailwind to it. That's going to make turn 3 very difficult here tonight.
Going to make it very difficult indeed. Now, some of these drivers do struggle with the wind conditions here, and when the wind gets to a point where it's affecting the car's handling, you know it's going to be pretty bad. So we're going to have to keep a close eye on these drivers heading in turns 3 and 4 tonight and see how the cars do handle with this wind right now, as you see the pace car and the field gridding up here on the front straightaway. One of those drivers are going to go home tonight kissing the bricks. Who will it be? We don't know, but let's get this party started.
There was those yard of bricks here at Indianapolis. This entire racetrack was made out of brick originally. It wasn't until the 50s where the entirety of the track was paved except for the front straightaway, and then it wasn't until 1962 where the front stretch was paved. and that little yard of bricks was left to sort of retain some of that history and some of that old look and feel to this racetrack, and it has been made a staple of this circuit ever since. Steven Johnson and Derek Wegman, the only two drivers that have yet to grid up. Now Steven Johnson has, waiting on Derek Wegman. Looks like he will miss the grid as we are about set to get rolling here this evening at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, as cars will start now to roll off. So it'll be 21 drivers that will take the green to start. There is the pace car now starting to roll off as we are getting set to go around Indy. One more time, we'll take a look at the point standings coming into this race. Justin Lewis finds himself currently just 1 point ahead of Lilith Peters. There is the front end, or the top side, of Justin Lewis's number 7 machine. Lilith Peters, there she is. She will line up in the 5th position, not that far away. So Daniel, anything can happen here tonight. And with how close these two are going to be racing with each other here, this could make for a big, big swing here in the points.
It sure can. And, you know, you don't want to make any mistakes here tonight. You don't want to have bad pit stops. You don't want to make enemies out there on the track, obviously. But what you want to try to do is minimize these mistakes. You don't want to make any, just because you know that point battle is very tight. And like you said, Frank, if one thing goes wrong and you're Justin Lewis, for instance, and something goes wrong, you could be out of the points lead within seconds. So you want to try to avoid as much as possible here. Try to run a clean race. Execute well, get the win, and have fun while doing it, because you know at the end of the day you can't reverse anything. So just go for it, have fun, and kiss those bricks.
Especially with the old style NASCAR point system where it's 180 points for a win, then it goes down by 5, 4, and then 3 after an X amount of time. It certainly makes every position just that much more important. Still have not yet seen Derek Wegman pop out on pit road, so we are anticipating 21 drivers here for this race tonight. We're getting set to go green here this time. So Johnny Wood Jr. will have control over the field. No Geico restart zone. So these guys will be going on green here, at least for this initial start. Take a look at some of the drivers that we will have onboard cameras with. There is the 27 of Trevor Dalton, who we will be jumping on board with. One of the carriers of our gyro cam, Barrett Flo. Not too much banking here, but certainly enough to trigger the old gyro cam. Take a look also, we'll see off the side, or up on top here from Chad Jones. Looking down at the entirety of the cockpit of that machine. Let's have a look off the gearbox of Michael Matta as he sees Jeremy Flanagan sitting behind him now as they go through turn number 3. Johnny Wood Jr. out in front, with Chad Jones, Lilith Peters behind. Justin Lewis will hold Steven Johnson and Mike Peters at bay here for the start of this race. It will be 80 laps here at Indianapolis. Pace car is set to turn off now. Daniel, take us away.
750, Johnny Wood Jr. on the inside. Outside of him is the 7 of Justin Lewis. Here we go, green flag in the air. Let's go racing at the Brickyard, folks.
Moving around towards the back of the pack, side by side from everyone going into turn 1. looking clean here through the first couple of corners, and Johnny Wood Jr. on that inside line is the one that is going to get the advantage, as it looks like the two Peters, Lilith and Mike, no relation, getting bouncing off each other coming out of turn 2, as Lewis is going for the lead.
Lewis heading to turns 3 and 4, taking the lead away from Johnny Wood Jr. in the 750. 750 washes up the track there. That's going to allow him to get around the 7 once again, but a great battle for the lead here as we look back here for third. You see these 44 Steven Johnson taking that position with the 75 of Jones on the inside of him.
There is Jones, Lilith Peters to the outside as we look off the back of Steven Johnson. I believe may have caught the wall coming and trying to swing into turn 1. Lilith Peters really pushing up wide, coming out of going through turn 1 to try not to get into the 44. She's going to lose a couple spots because of it. Oh, went into the wall hard.
Oh. One of Lilith Peters not having the start she wanted to have here, knowing that she could be at risk here for the points lead. As you see, she did tag the wall there in turns 2. Right on the inside of him is the 22 of Ronnie Hurst Jr.
Riding on board here just in front. Oh, just on the splitter of Maxwell Caldwell on the outside. A little bit of contact there between Ronnie Hurst and Michael Matta. You can see Matthew McMeekin to the inside. In that little, you see that little cat. Oh, round goes. Watch it. Keep it straight. Wow. What a save by Maxwell Caldwell.
Going to lose a lot of positions here, falling back through the pack. Going to have to work his way back up once again. Great save by the 94 Caldwell. Right behind him, you see the Tide Machine. Let's look at this replay here.
This is coming out of turn 2. It's with Michael Matta all over him. Let's go bring it up a little bit further here. It's going into turn 1. Oh, may have turned across the front. Netcode certainly had an effect on that. Him turning across the front of the 41, so Caldwell will lose a couple spots. He'll go from 10th to 14th as we'll go back up to the front. Johnny Wood Jr. is back in the race lead. Justin Lewis, Steven Johnson have broken away to the tune of a 2.5 seconds over Mike Peters and the rest of the field.
Top 2 pulling away the second half lead. Right there, sitting in third place is the 44 Steven Johnson's. Fourth place is the 95 of Peters. Peters having a really good run here. Indy. Oh, 41 of McMeekin off track, comes up, hits the outside.
Flow, pardon me. A little bit of net code there as well. Jumps over the grass, able to keep it straight. Nobody else gets taken out. Boy, Eric Schaus did a great job there. Let's try to jump on board here with the 60 of Schaus. Watch it. Oh, watch it. As we were showing this replay, the caution has come out, and it is for that car. It is the 27 of Trevor Dalton who has gone around.
Missing a whole front end splitter there. We have to take a look at a replay here. 27 with a lot of damage, bringing out our first caution night here on lap 6 out of 80 from Indy.
This is turn 3 again as well. Battling with Mike Peters. Net code again. Oh, Peters, a big hit. Now, netcode certainly played its part in it. But was it one of those where it was because of netcode that they hit, or was it they were playing with fire? Wow, he came across the track big time.
I don't know if that was netcode or not, but that was, I do believe it was from the contact earlier on in this incident.
Jump on board here with Mike Peters.
Right there. Oh.
And you can see the way the hood pops back. That typically means, yeah, you didn't really make contact with him. What I was trying to say was, as you see, Trevor Dalton has taken his fast repair. Lilith Peters coming down pit road, leading a group down. What I was trying to say, and I think I did a bad job of saying it, was that one of those incidents where netcode caused the caution, or they were going to hit anyway, and netcode just kind of helped it along?
That is a very great question, because I could see it happening both ways, but it's very hard to make that decision based off of that replay there. We're going to have to look a little further into that later on. As you see, the 750 of Johnny Wood Jr. still holding the lead here, having a very great run earlier on in this race so far, only on lap 7 now of 80. We saw half of the field come down pit road, the other half stay out. So, what are these drivers thinking?
Thinking I want to come in and get some fuel, because that's what most of them have done. Austin Call takes fuel only, as does Eric Schaus, Maxwell Caldwell, Brendan Cordoyer, Jonathan Casebeer, Raymond Kimmel. All take fuel only. Lilith Peters and Jeremy Flanagan, two Firefox food cars, and the one in the 72, they both, Foxfire Food, sorry. Both took 4 tires, as did Trevor Dalton and Mike Peters, as you would have probably assumed they would have. Jack Sanders either took a long fuel stop or he took 2 tires in the number 5. And Matthew McMeekin took fuel only. So that is where we stand here as we begin lap number 8.
As you see the field bunching up, doubling up here for this next restart. We're going to restart with lap number 9 out of 80. As you see, Johnny Wood Jr. on the inside of the 750 car. On the outside of him is the 7 of Justin Lewis. Row 2, we have the 75 of Jones on the outside. On the inside of him, we have the 44 of Steven Johnson. And in row 3, we have Michael Matta, who has made a little bit of ground. See if he can make up more ground here on this restart. Michael Matta also in that point battle situation with the 7 of Justin Lewis.
I did see in chat, by the way, you mentioned the points. Taylor Caldwell in the chat noting that our points are a little bit off, and they are. The points that we are showing before each race, those are without the drop weeks. Each driver will get 3 drop weeks. Basically, drop a third of the schedule off of their points. And that right there, the points that we showed at the beginning of the race, is the points with everything, with everyone still having counted every single race. So Johnny Wood Jr. and Justin Lewis will line up here at the front of the field. Green flag is getting set to come out. I believe they are off and rolling. Yep, they absolutely are. Johnny Wood Jr. taking control. Green flag in the air.
Johnny Wood Jr. with a great restart launch there, heading into turn 1. 7 of Justin Lewis battling side by side with the 44 of Steven Johnson. It's going to go to Justin Lewis, taking second. As you see, a 44 into the outside wall a little bit.
Steven Johnson in the 44. Everyone getting single file a lot quicker than they were before. There is Zach Lockett looking to the inside of Ronnie Hurst. Boy, guys, getting very close to that wall, and you saw Ronnie Hurst wearing the sponsorship for the race here tonight. JMG Group, J&M, there it is. J&M Group Industrial Services. Still hanging to the outside of Zach Lockett.
See a lot of movement throughout the back of the pack there. Oh, as you see, multiple cars going around. I do believe that is
that's Jason.
The 83 of Crumley having some issues.
Yeah, these guys are getting very, very close to the wall, I'm noticing. And some of these guys in Crumley, there just exemplified it. He was riding that wall down the entirety of the front stretch. As I believe Johnny Wood Jr., he certainly has. He's gotten into the outside wall somewhere. That's allowed Justin Lewis to pull out a big lead, and now Steven Johnson is putting him under fire. See the damage on the right front.
Steven Johnson gaining ground on the 750 of Johnny Wood Jr. here on lap 10, but Justin Lewis has a 1.3 second lead over second place. See the 44 going on the outside. They're going to be side by side heading into one.
And just in that one mistake from Johnny Wood Jr., that has cost this entire pack 1.6 seconds to the race leader, and Wood is having a handful with that car right now.
Handful a lot. You saw him get very loose in turns 1 and 2. Now struggling to keep up, losing positions now, holding the pack back. Now the pack going by him, trying to gain on the 7 of Justin Lewis. Still 1.6 second lead over the 44 Steven Johnson. But it looks like the 750 Wood now falling into 4th place here.
Surprised Barrett Flo didn't hang him out to dry. Gave him a bump draft there down the back straightaway. Kind of helped him back along as we see down the back stretch. That's Austin Call looking to the inside of Ronnie Hurst. Hurst was able to fend off the battle of Zach Lockett on the outside line. Now he's going to look to do the same with the number 18 Tide ride of Austin Call. And Call certainly giving him a run for his money here at the moment. But Hurst on that outside line, able to stick strong. Now Eric Schaus looking to push the 18 through.
18 having a nice throwback paint scheme in that Tide machine. Austin Call having a really good season here as we're on board with the 60 of Schaus. Right there from him is the 22 of Ronnie Hurst Jr.
Close to the wall you have to get in order to get a good run. Looking to that inside of Ronnie Hurst, and Hurst has been very good on that outside line, about 1.5 lanes, 2 lanes up, and is able to maintain the defense. So Ronnie Hurst showing you can work the outside line here. You may not be able to get a pass done, but you'll certainly be able to defend.
You can defend all you want, but you notice most of these drivers are up using that wall. That is because they want to get a good corner exit. They want to get a run on the driver in front of them, side draft, make a pass. So that is why we're seeing most of these drivers use the top lane during these corner exits here. As you see, the 22 of Ronnie Hurst still in front of the 60 of Schaus. The 7 of Justin Lewis still with a 1.6 second lead over Steven Johnson. I don't know if anybody's going to catch him right now.
There is Justin Lewis, again, as you mentioned, with a 1.7 second lead. As let's take a look here really quick and see what happened between Justin Lewis and Johnny Wood Jr. Now, we saw the damage on the right front from Wood. As there they are, side by side going into turn 1. This is back on lap 9. This is the second lap after the restart. There is the pass, so he didn't pass him because of the damage. Oh, that's where he got the damage. Door to door with the 44 of Steven Johnson.
It amazes me how that little bit of damage can affect your car here at Indy. Unfortunate for the 750 Johnny Wood Jr. Right now, you see the 75 of Chad Jones and the 92 of Barrett Flo battling here for 5th place as we're riding on board here with Chad Jones in that 75 J&M Group Industry Services machine.
I believe that's the it's just
my
a
bad.
sponsor
No.
there. I believe it's the Fresh Market. Yep, the Fresh Market on the 75 car here tonight. Take a look a little bit further back. Matthew McMeekin looking to the inside of Trevor Dalton behind Lilith Peters and Maxwell Caldwell, just ahead of Jeremy Flanagan. As we work lap number 15 here at Indianapolis, complete lap number 15. Now jumping on to lap 16. There is the final car on the racetrack, way in the back there. That is Jason Crumley. Now he has lost the draft. He's about 3 seconds behind the group. But he is on the lead lap, much as everybody else is here tonight. As Eric Schaus now finally makes his way through Roddy Hurst, and now Zach Lockett will get another chance to do battle with the 22.
Once you lose this draft here at Indy, it's very hard to get back into the draft, because once you lose that draft, you're going to start falling away from the pack. So you're all out there by yourself. And if we have a lone green flag run, that's going to hurt even more, because you just can't keep falling back and lose the pack. As you see, we have a nice tight little battle here. You see the one of Lilith Peters there with the 94 of Caldwell, Maxwell Caldwell, and who is that? Then
looks like Matthew McMeekin and Trevor Dalton there. Zach Lockett was the one in the front of that in the 98. Oh, hard into the wall in the back. Jonathan K-Spear. Caution is out. My goodness.
Oh my gosh. Don't know how that happened, but all I saw was the 6 car fly across this track here. See, major damage to the 6 car of Jonathan K-Spear. Got a win at Talladega earlier on in the season. Let's take a look at this replay here. We're on board with Jonathan K-Spear. Gets on those rumble strips, gets loose, overcorrects, comes back up into the outside wall. Major damage there on that 6 machine.
Yeah, back end came out on him big time through the corner. I don't think he caught the... Yeah, no, he just... Oh. That just hooked at the worst possible time. Made for a dramatic shot, though, so good job there, John.
That was a great angle.
Let's take a look and see. This is on board of Mike Peters. Oops. Here we are. Just in time to see the hook, and then there's more damage to a car that's already used as fast repair.
Wrong place, wrong time, 4 to 95 there.
So that will slow the field down here for the second time tonight. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. You are watching the J&M Group Industrial Services 400 here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Back here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Justin Lewis and Steven Johnson staying out here under this caution flag. We'll lead the field down to green here as we begin the 21st lap here at Indianapolis. Green flag is back in the air. Off and rolling we go.
Justin Lewis heading into turn one. Great launch on that restart of the 44. Steven Johnson not too far behind here, trying to get up there. As you see, most of the pack now single file.
They're getting out single file quite quickly as compared to what they were doing earlier on, as I believe that was the 5 of Jack Sanders. It is. They're letting the field go by. It's coming out of pit road as the field was coming up. So Justin Lewis, 2-second lead now gone. Now has to fight with Steven Johnson and Trevor Dalton behind. Dalton's made a great recovery from the earlier incident.
Look who's in the top 5 is Jeremy Flanagan, another driver we haven't talked about recently in these past few races, running really good right now. Lap 22, Jeremy Flanagan from Pennsylvania here, run inside top 5.
Jeremy Flanagan running in 5th. There is the 750 of Johnny Wood Jr. Now, interesting, Johnny Wood Jr. came in, took tires, took fuel under that caution, did not repair the right front corner. Now, whether or not that gave him no optional repair, we are not sure, but I'm surprised that he didn't at least do those repairs a couple of seconds as it may have been to try to help that car handle. As you see Justin Lewis weaving down the front straightaway, trying to take away any advantage Steven Johnson may get. That was a big block going into turn 1 that's going to force the 7 up the track.
Side by side for the lead here. As you see, the 44 on the inside of the 7 here, trying to make a pass, but they're still going to be side by side, heading down the back straightaway. And it's going to be the 7 of Justin Lewis still in the lead here.
It's a big wiggle out of Steven Johnson as well. Look at Jeremy Flanagan looking to the inside of Matthew McMeekin. No dice for car number 72. Michael Matta holding station right behind the 92 of Barrett Flo. Eric Schaus looking to the outside of Lilith Peters. Chad Jones looking to the inside of Schaus. That's for 11th.
As you see Chad Jones make a move on the 60 of Schaus here, heading into turn 1. They're going to be side by side. As you see, 75 is going to take advantage of 60 Schaus. Now stuck there on the outside line, but they're still going to be side by side heading into turn number 2 and down the back straightaway.
Jones will make the pass as now Flanagan falling into the clutches of Johnny Wood Jr. That's to get Wood back into that 5th position, and he will get it. Top 4 breaking away. Justin Lewis, Steven Johnson, Trevor Dalton, Matthew McMeekin. As we saw earlier on, Justin Lewis has no intention of riding behind anyone here today, as you're seeing a couple of cars catch the wall coming out of turn 4.
It seems like turn 4 and 2 have been the issues for some of these drivers in that outside wall. Not tons of damage to these cars for a minute, but it looks like everybody's keeping it clean there. As you see back there in mid-pack, still battling side by side, gaining these positions here. And I want to point out, Lilith Peters is now inside the top 10. Right in front of her is 16 Michael Mattis. We're going to have to keep a close eye on that. Those two battling here at Indy on lap 25. But it looks like the 27 of Dalton now going to 2nd place here. But here comes the 41 of McMeekin.
Steven Johnson really got up out of the groove, had to back out. He's going to go from 2nd all the way down to 5th. So Steven Johnson with some big problems in car number 44. Losing some spots. Everybody else pretty much straightforward. Johnson able to keep that spot. So Johnson will stay in the 4th position as Justin Lewis tries now to use that as a catapult to launch himself away. Now, Justin Lewis and Steven Johnson are the only two cars that have not yet pit in this race. Everybody else has come down at least once. Dalton and McMeekin came down on lap 5 and 6. Jeremy Flanagan came down on lap 6. Everybody else came down under that last caution flag, as you can see here by the graphic on the screen. That is where the top 10 pit strategy lies. Steven Johnson and Justin Lewis still on the same tires and fuel as when they started this race.
Different drivers, different strategies played here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Now Steven Johnson losing a position to the 92 of Barrett Flow. You're beginning to wonder, are those tires not working as well now? And is his car handling a lot different now that he's in dirty air? Because I do know here at Indy, if you're in front, you're leading the pack here, your car's going to handle a lot different than when you're in the pack behind dirty air. So we're going to have to keep a close eye on that. As you see, we're on board with the 44 of Steven Johnson with that good wrench service scheme there out of Atlanta, Georgia.
Steven Johnson, I mean, it all started really when he got knocked up out of the groove. Not necessarily knocked up out of the groove, but drifted up in turns 1 and 2, allowing Trevor Dalton and Matthew McMeekin and Johnny Wood Jr. to get around him. He has stabilized, though. Here in 6th position, as now Justin Lewis is starting to break away just a little bit. 0.6 of a second now, the difference, as both Dalton and McMeekin catch the wall coming out of turn 2. Johnny Wood Jr. in very close pursuit. As you're seeing up in the background there, that's Michael Matta looking to the inside of Jeremy Flanagan. Lilith Peters putting a move on her teammate. And Matta trying to follow through. These two were 1 and 2 in the points, the 1 and the 16 going into last week's race at Nashville.
All right there for the points lead, and it's a nice little pack there of every driver trying to fight for this points lead. As you see, the one of Lilith Peters getting an advance over these 3 drivers literally on top of each other. As you see right there, 16 of Michael Matta there getting a little loose. You see on the outside of him, 72 of Flanagan. They're going to be side by side entering turn number 2, heading down the back straightaway, but it looks like the band is going to the 16 of Michael Matta.
A little bit of contact with the wall there for the 72 of Flanagan. Chad Jones to the inside. Jones with Ronnie Hurst there as well. This is a battle to stay inside the top 10 now between Flanagan, Jones, and Hurst. As Jones pulls out a small advantage, he will now get the spot as Flanagan now having to deal with Ronnie Hurst. Field up front, running single file, not missing all that much. Up at the front, Justin Lewis has lost a little bit, has lost about 1/10 of a second on his lead. Trevor Dalton is starting to pull away from Matthew McMeekin, and McMeekin now starting to queue up the rest of the group behind him.
Even playing field here, a lot of drivers spread out. As you see, the 7 of Justin Lewis now falling off a little bit with the 27 of Trevor Dalton trying to reel him in. But what a great job by the 41 of McMeekin right now. Running inside the top 3, having an excellent run right now. Hopefully he can keep it going. As you see right there, Matthew McMeekin out of Chesapeake, Virginia in that 41 machine.
It's caught back up to Trevor Dalton as well. Justin Lewis gaining about 0.3 of a second that time around. Dalton must have made a mistake again. He got a big wind blowing towards the west. Now this track is set up right on the compass. So the back straightaway is the north end. West is the direction of travel they're currently heading. So a big tailwind. These drivers are getting in turn 3, meaning they're going to have to back up that entry just a little bit to compensate for that. Some of these guys have gotten it wrong here tonight for sure.
Oh, 7 of Justin Lewis there. I do believe he just hit that outside wall coming off of turn 4, where most of these drivers are having problems. But it looks like he's going to keep a steady lead here over the 27 of Trevor Dalton.
And speaking of Justin Lewis, he's going to have to pit soon. Now, they have had about 8 laps worth of caution running to extend the fuel tank a little bit. Same thing here with Steven Johnson, but these are the only 2 that have not come down pit road at all at any point during this race. So these 2 are certainly going to be itching to get down pit road here as soon as possible. Tires haven't really been all that big a concern, surprisingly enough, for Indianapolis and these stock cars, knowing the history. But fuel is going to become a concern in the very near future, I would assume, for the 7 and the 44.
Fuel is going to play a factor here tonight at Indy, and we do expect the 7 of Justin Lewis to come down pit road pretty soon. I don't know exactly what lap, but I know he'll be coming down pretty soon to get that fuel. And you see him pulling away still once again here on lap 33 over the rest of the pack here with the 27 of Trevor Dalton. You see the 41 of McMeekin now fighting for 3rd place here. As you see, we are literally going all different directions here. As you see, McMeekin now struggling with the 750 and the 18 there, going by him, and the 92 of Barrett Flow.
Looks like, I mean, my guess would be that Johnny Wood Jr. had a little bit of a moment, or McMeekin had a little bit of a moment coming out of the corner to set that up. Let's take a look back and see how that, yeah, McMeekin got loose, and everyone else got the charge on him. See Barrett Flow going 3 wide, Austin Call trying to take the advantage as well. So a wiggle there from the 41 has dropped him from 3rd all the way down to 6th. And somebody we haven't mentioned sneaking up here, Lilith Peters. She has gone from the 2nd pack up to the front pack all by her lonesome. Justin Lewis last time around, to put this into perspective, Lewis did a 53.36 last time by. Lilith Peters, a 52.90. She's been catching this group by about a half a second a lap.
Oh, she's definitely gaining this group now, as you see. Look how far out these 2 packs are from literally Lilith Peters all the way back to Michael Madden. That's a pretty big gap to cover ground there. So good job by the 1 of Lilith Peters. Gonna have to keep a close eye on her. As you see, McMeekin now currently in 6th place, and like you mentioned, Frank, one little mistake, and look how many positions you can lose here within seconds. So you're gonna have to try to be mistake-free. Unfortunately, it's not happening for some of these drivers. But look at the 27 of Dalton now gaining ground on the 7 of Justin Lewis and bringing the 92 of Barrett Flow with him.
Yep, Justin Lewis has had a couple of slow laps here, a couple of tenths slower than what the 7 has been able to, the 27, I should say, has been able to do, as that draft is now very much in effect in favor of Trevor Dalton right now. Barrett Flow there, it's amazing how close these guys are getting to that outside wall. We've been seeing it all night on corner entry. Sometimes you swing out a little bit, try to arc your corner a little bit better. Yeah, these guys are getting into the wall routinely, trying to swing this car out, trying to get that better run going into turns 1 and turns 3.
Some of these drivers are having issues. Unfortunately, I do believe it has to do something with these tires here on this track. And it's just unfortunate because I feel like when you're racing so long here, like we have been, that tire wear, it's not, it's not going away extremely. It's just going down a little bit at a time. And I feel like once it starts doing that, your car's going to start handling a little different in the turns, and you might wash up the track a little more. And once you're washed into that track, going upward toward the outside wall, once you're in that debris and all that on the outside of the track, it's going to start pulling your car towards the outside of the wall. So you want to try to avoid that as much as possible. You see the 7 of Justin Lewis Ryan on board here on the back of the back roof camera here. with the 7.
I heard a shift there. Yeah, he's downshifting.
Some of these drivers do downshift too.
So that's not going to be helping his fuel either. Keeping the higher revs, using a little bit more fuel is Justin Lewis. See what he does this time around. As Lewis led most of the laps here thus far. Mentioned he has not come down pit road yet. He just did a 53.60, which is slowest in the top 10. His best lap of the race, a 52.2. So he's about a second and a half off from what he's able to do on fresh tires. And I'm sure if he thinks he can make it on just one more stop, he's going to try to push it a couple more laps here to try to get to halfway.
Hey, why not? Try to push it as far out as you can. Lead as many laps as possible here, and he's doing so on lap 38 out of 80. Coming up on the halfway point here, Frank. Is this the racing we expected to see tonight?
I think it is. A lot of space, fast racetrack. Seeing a lot of racing in the back as well. That is Michael Matta leading that group. Ronnie Hurst and Chad Jones battling side by side. Maxwell Caldwell, who we're used to seeing mix it up at the front of the field, is stuck here just outside the top 10 in that number 94. These guys trying to battle and duke it out for supremacy here as side by side up here at the front. Austin Call looking for a line around Trevor Dalton, goes to the bottom. And Austin Call will get position on Trevor Dalton. Will he get the position is still up in the air.
18 Austin Call battling really hard with the 27 of Trevor Dalton for second place right now. Austin Call, he was leading the white flag here at Talladega a few weeks ago. Looking to get that win. Didn't get the win, unfortunately. Could he do it tonight here at the Brickyard, another famous track that everybody wants to win at? Currently second place, running really good here, battling, as you see, 27 all over the quarter panel there.
Woo!
He's going to have to go, whoa, he's going to have to go really low here. He's going to lose his momentum to the 750 of Johnny Wood Jr., now battling side by side with Barrett Flo. But that 18 is sailing to first place, it looks like.
It's going to be effective first position when Justin Lewis comes into pit. Now Johnny Wood Jr. looking to the inside, and it looks like that damage has not affected the 750 on the long run. Here's what we expected. Justin Lewis coming in. Steven Johnson's going to pick up a lot of time coming in behind him. So the two pit stops that we were expecting are now here. That leaves Austin Call in a battle with Johnny Wood Jr. for the race lead. They got to halfway. They got to their goal. Can they run it out from here?
They probably can now. You're going to have to keep close. Oh, 750 of Johnny Wood Jr. into the wall there.
Making
Still
contact.
side drafting.
We're doing a little bit more than side drafting there for a moment. As Austin Call to the inside will take over that race lead. Johnny Wood Jr. will have to slot into second for the moment. Barrett Flo, Trevor Dalton, your top four. We are just past halfway here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. You are watching the J&M Group Industrial Services 400 here at Indy. Austin Call leads the way.
The wheel. Third time's charm. Oh. Very unfortunate for the one Lilith Peters running inside the top 10. Was hoping that she would get a top 10, top 5. Unfortunately, now that we have a penalty, doesn't look like the outcome is going to be very well for her tonight. Here on lap 51, as you see, the 92 of Barrett Flow in the lead right now with literally a second over the 750 of Johnny Wood Jr. Right there. It is, and as you see the 18th of Austin Call heading down the back straightaway there with this 27 of Trevor Dalton right behind him.
Thank you to Josh Tarrant Hill in the Discord chat here, telling me my mic was off. So Barrett Flow out in front, Johnny Wood Jr., Maxwell Caldwell, Chad Jones, Mike Peters, your current top 5 effective race leaders. Just to quickly recap what I just said: Justin Lewis, Steven Johnson, 8th and 9th right now. These two will be your effective 1 and 2, and they are 8.3 seconds ahead of this pairing of Austin Call and Trevor Dalton, who are now running 10th and 11th here on circuit. But again, 8 laps less fuel, 8 laps worse off tires means that they will be losing a little bit every single lap to the 18 and the 27, that being the 7 and the 44. Chad Jones has come down pit road, surrendering a top 5 spot. So Barrett Flo, Johnny Wood Jr., Maxwell Caldwell, Mike Peters, Brendan Cornoyer, and Eric Schaus, right now your current top 6, have not yet come down pit road.
Once they do come down pit road, the 7, Justin Lewis will be back in the lead here. Now, here's the question. Will anybody get past the 7 of Justin Lewis? That question is yet to be answered here. We are going on lap 55 out of 80 here. Past halfway, as you see, Johnny Wood Jr. in the 750 from Mooresville, North Carolina, making a run down pit road.
So Barrett Flo right now still your race leader, 6.5 seconds clear of Maxwell Caldwell, who's now running solo, who is 8 seconds clear of Mike Peters, who is 2.5 seconds clear of Brendan Cornoyer, who is about, say, another 8 seconds clear of Eric Schaus. So that is your current top 5, as Steven Johnson has gotten around Justin Lewis. So when pit stops do cycle out, it will be Steven Johnson out in front of the field, as these two are racing right now on track for 6th. Effective first, as here comes Barrett Flo surrendering the race lead.
Barrett Flo having a little luck up there coming on pit road. Gets on nice and clean, though. Having a very decent run here. Probably going to get some 4 Goodyear tires and a splash of fuel here.
Top 5 driver before the pit stops was Barrett Flo. You haven't had enough of SCL action here this week. We have 3 more races. Super late models and the late model stocks, not the super late models. Late model stocks and the street stocks tomorrow night, starting at 8 o'clock p.m. Then it will be the Super Truck Series on Wednesday night, starting at 8:20 p.m. is when the broadcast will go live. All 3 of those series will be racing at the Lucas Oil Raceway, formerly Indianapolis Raceway Park, as Maxwell Caldwell comes in. He will surrender the race lead to Mike Peters. As there is Peters, he will lead this lap. All 3 series will then be at the Bristol Motor Speedway next week for the penultimate round of the season. And then the final week, 2 weeks from tonight, both the Cup and Super Truck Series will hold their season finales at Atlanta. And the late model stocks and the street stocks will be at Five Flags Speedway. And I'll apologize, late model stocks and the street stocks will not be at Bristol. They will both be at Concord next Tuesday night. So it'll be Lucas Oil, Bristol, and Atlanta for the Super Trucks. Lucas Oil, Concord, and Five Flags for the late model stocks and the street stocks. And for the Cup, it'll be here at Indianapolis, Bristol, and Atlanta. Those are your final 3 rounds of the season. As Mike Peters comes in, Eric Schaus will come in and follow. That will give the lead to Brendan Cornoyer out in front.
Brendan Cornoyer having a really good run last week. Really proved that he can race here with these top elite drivers here in the Cup Series. Once again, having a decent night tonight. Not upside the top 5, but at least he's having a good run. No issues for the 55. And once he comes down pit road, that's going to allow the 44, Steven Johnson, to get that lead. As you see, the 55 gives up the lead coming down pit road to get service. That's going to allow the 44, Steven Johnson, take the lead. And now the 7 of Justin Lewis in second place. But don't count out that 18 of Austin Calls. You see a 44 there make contact come now of turn 4.
Big wiggle out of Steven Johnson. Justin Lewis doesn't have quite enough. Well, maybe he does to get to the inside of Steven Johnson. Justin Lewis back out to the race lead. Steven Johnson does lead the lap. And by the way, remember how we said that gap between Lewis and Johnson and Call and Dalton was going to be coming down a little bit every single lap? And last time we mentioned that gap, it was 8.5 seconds. It's now 5.5 seconds. So they've gained 3 whole seconds in the span of about 7 or 8 laps.
A lot of laps to go here yet to get up to these front two, which I wouldn't be shocked if that does happen here tonight. As you see, the 7, Justin Lewis currently taking the lead once again here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Was dominating the first half, now looking like to dominate the second half. We're going to have to see if 44 can make a move here.
Austin Call has pulled out a little bit of an advantage on Trevor Dalton. There you see the gap. The gap is about a second between the 18 and the 27, but that doesn't mean the 27 is alone. He certainly has company. That is Johnny Wood Jr., currently occupying the 5th position. And by coming in just a lap earlier, and I believe taking just 2 tires, did Johnny Wood Jr. as he looks down to the inside of Trevor Dalton for 4th. He has put 5 seconds between himself and Barrett Flo. They were nose to tail. As a matter of fact, I think Wood was about a second behind Barrett Flo when they came into pit. Flo, a lap later, has cost him 5 seconds.
Now that gap closing to second place there. As you see, a 44 going to the inside, trying to hug that white line, trying to make it stick, trying to get around this 7. But this 7 is really pushing it right now. As you see, the 44 still trying to get on the inside.
Nate mentioned off air we would like to speak with Ronnie Hurst at some point. We wanted to do it under the next caution. However, that next caution has not come. We said that back on lap 16, at least internally. We said that back on lap 16, and there has not been a caution since. We have been green since lap 20. So we're on a nice little 40-lap run here. Try to get Ronnie Hurst up in the booth at some point. Again, carrying the race sponsor, the J&M Group Industrial Services. On that number 22 car, as it has been all season long so far for that 22. Get him to come on up here at some point, talk about the series, the race sponsor, and what the group does. So right now, this battle for the lead here, sitting very, very close between the 44 and the 7 as they're going to go and swap it going into turn 3.
See the 44, Steven Johnson now taking the lead here once again, making an aggressive move on the 7 of Justin Lewis. 7 now backing off in the second place. But look at the 18 of Austin Call. Now with 2.5 seconds behind, gaining once again on the top 2 here with just 18 laps to go from the Brickyard.
Austin Call is gaining on the top pair, and Johnny Wood Jr. has gained right up to the back bumper of Austin Call. It was about a 1.2 second gap that he had to the 18 of Call before he got around Trevor Dalton. Dalton now finds himself 2 seconds adrift of this pair as Johnny Wood Jr., you can see it, will jump on board with him here. He has taken the faster pair under this most recent pit stop that he had back on lap 54. That right front corner is not bent in on the 750 anymore, so his car is back up to full song and is certainly showing it.
See the 750 there, hugging that inside line there, trying to side draft the 18, not going to help. Going down the front straightaway, you see the 18 Austin Call still staying out front in the 750 of Johnny Wood Jr., and they are still about 2.5 seconds behind the top 2 right now, as you can tell. 44 of Johnson still out front.
Allow me to correct you there. They are 2.5 seconds off of the race leader, Steven Johnson. Justin Lewis, on the other hand, is about a second off of Steven Johnson. Look at these last couple of laps. Johnson has put has put quite a bit of time, it looks like, on Justin Lewis over these last couple of laps. What a job that Johnson has done getting away from Justin Lewis. Now, Lewis might be trying to save a little bit here, maybe trying not to have to pit under these next 16 laps and try to finish up here in second. Johnson thinks he's done the saving that he needs to do. He's good to make it.
The 7 was literally battling with the 44 not even 5 laps ago. Now literally a half a second gap between the top 2 here, with the 44 out front of the 7 of Justin Lewis, and right behind them in 3rd place is the 750 of Johnny Wood Jr. 4th place we have the 18 of Austin Call, and rounding out your top 5 right now is the 27 of Trevor Dolan, another driver having an excellent performance, comes to the track every week, week in, week out, has great runs, just hasn't executed as well, but you know, it would be nice to see him get a win. Unfortunately, time is running out this season, but he's doing an excellent job. As you see there, he clips the wall. That's going to allow the 92 of Barrett Flo go around him going down the front straightaway.
Did a little bit more than clip it. He about knocked it down as Steven Johnson and Justin Lewis are right back at it again. Now, Johnny Wood Jr., we would expect him to be able to catch and pass these guys relatively easily. We'll take a look at the last pit stops for the top 5. Johnson and Lewis again coming in at the halfway point on lap 40. Johnny Wood Jr. came in on lap 54, so he's got quite the advantage over these 2 in front of him, so he should be able to catch and dispatch of these 2 fairly easily, as Justin Lewis going to make it a little bit easier on Johnny Wood Jr. to try to catch up. Goes to the inside, tries to get the pass. Wood gets blocked almost all the way to the wall as Justin Lewis takes the momentum from the 750.
He's going to have to keep an eye in that mirror. As you see, his 750 now makes a slide job on the 44 there. Heading into turn number 1. You see now the 750 Johnny Wood Jr. gaining ground on the 7 of Justin Lewis. This is just incredible racing here.
Again, about 14 lap fresher tires between the 7 and the 750. 13 and a half laps to go here from Indianapolis. Justin Lewis cannot quite get to that bottom line the way he needs to. Try to keep that 750 at bay. I have a feeling that the 7 and the 44, this fight for these 2 is going to be in vain, because you also got to think they made it half the race on a full tank of gas and fuel, but that was with 8 caution laps. They haven't had a caution here since they got on this set, so they're not going to be getting the same fuel mileage that they were getting a little bit earlier on. As another big block from Justin Lewis. That'll allow Johnny Wood Jr. to get to the outside with the momentum, with the speed. He'll draw even going into 3. He'll nose out ahead, but on the inside, Justin Lewis able to dive out ahead, not able to clear Johnny Wood Jr. as Wood looking to take that outside line. Contact between the 2. They keep it straight, though.
Slide job coming out of turn number 4 there, with the 7 of Justin Lewis all over the place, still side by side. Literally neck to neck coming to the line, and the 750 Johnny Wood Jr. is going to lead that lap, but they're still going to throw it in there in turn 1 with the 7 on the inside.
Justin Lewis has shown all race long that he is not going to give up the race lead for free. He blocked off Steven Johnson earlier on, a couple of different blocks on Johnny Wood Jr. here over the last couple of laps, and now what has seemed academic over these last couple of laps has now happened, and Johnny Wood Jr. will look for his first win here in quite some time, I believe. Going back to it, I forget what the race after Motegi was, or was it Motegi, was his last win.
It was Motegi. I do believe it was Motegi.
take a look, and because it's gonna bother me if I don't get it right. So, no, it was Pocono was the race after Motegi. That was where he took the win. That was his last win on this season. That was back on October 23rd. So a little bit more than about a month and a half since Johnny Wood Jr. has seen victory lane. He did win Motegi, though. He won Motegi and he won Pocono.
Back-to-back wins and had a little month off of victory lane. Well, it looks like that's about to change here tonight with just 11 laps to go, coming to 10 with the 750 of Wood in the front, with the 7 of Justin Lewis in second. Now you see Barrett Flo moving to third there, taking that podium position away from the 44 Steven Johnson heading into turn 1.
Johnny Wood Jr. has put 1.7 seconds on Justin Lewis. Look at Barrett Flo forcing his way on through. Says, yeah, I'm not wasting my time with drivers on older tires. Justin Lewis now going to have to fight with Steven Johnson. As here with 10 laps to go, Johnson and Lewis side by side, beating off each other. Going into turn 3, it's going to be Johnson who is going to prevail, at least for the moment. Next one behind them, Austin Call, by about 1.1 seconds.
Now you're trying to see here now, the 750 Johnny Wood Jr. has fresher tires, 14 laps fresher tires than what the 7 and 44 have. So now, what do you think the 744 are thinking? They're thinking probably, well, that strategy didn't work. We tried our best here. Now they can use that for next week, or whenever they go to a track just like this, and they know that they can improve on that. So yes, they're not going to get the win here tonight, but at least they get a top 5 or top 10 here, and that is extremely extreme achievement here, just because we have long green flag runs here, and strategy, like I said, came into play. And unfortunately, it didn't end up in their favor. It ended up in the 750 Johnny Wood Jr.'s favor. So, good job for those two drivers. With 9 laps to go, 750 now has a 2-second lead.
Yeah, he's been pulling away here over these last couple of laps as Johnny Wood Jr. Barrett Flo has pulled about 0.8 of a second on Steven Johnson and Justin Lewis. Now, again, everything you just said is barring them not having to come into pit. If they don't have to pit, the farthest that they will realistically fall is 7th. That is Maxwell Caldwell and where he sits. So Caldwell has the potential to go up to about 5th position. He is 13 seconds ahead of Ronnie Hurst. So the 44 and the 7 could fall as low as 6th and 7th here in this race if they don't run out of fuel. But right now, Johnny Wood Jr. holding station about 1/10 of a second or so a lap faster than Barrett Flo. And Austin Call, by the way, not really gaining much on the 44 and the 7. He is running just about the same lap times. He only came in 8 laps before those two did. So you'd expect him to be a little bit quicker at this stage.
You would expect that from the 18 of Austin Call, but think about this realistically. There's 7 laps to go here at the Brickyard. It looks like we're not going to have any cautions. It's going to run out green. And he's currently 5th place, which is literally 5.2 seconds back. And that's a big, big gap. So you're probably not going to get to the lead. You're not going to get to a top 2 or top 3, I would say, unless something dramatically happens here. But he's probably thinking, I don't want to risk it. I don't want to get in an incident. I don't want to cause myself to wreck out. So it would be nice if I just get a top 5 here. Because I feel like it's better to get a top 5 than wreck the car. So I think that's what the 18 is trying to do right now.
Austin Call's best finish this season was 2nd. That was back at Daytona. He has not finished on the podium since. In car number 18. Barrett Flo currently runs in 2nd. His best finish was a win back at Michigan. That was his only win of this season. And now Austin Call appears to be reeling in that number 7 of Justin Lewis to try to match the position he finished in last week at Nashville, which would have been 4th.
Six laps to go here from the Brickyard. See the 18 of Austin Call there battling with the 7 of Justin Lewis. Back here we have the 55 of Kornoyer.
Yep.
Kornoyer, I believe.
Yes, it
and,
is. It is Brendan Kornoyer.
Mike
It's for the final spot in the top 10. Closest battle on track at the present moment. As there goes Mike Peters, you see in the foreground around Ronnie Hurst. That is for the 8th position. Brendan Kornoyer looking to the inside of Michael Matta. Matta pushing up a little bit. Michael Matta last came into pit on lap 44, so he's not all that far off of where the 7 and the 44 are. Brendan Kornoyer came in on lap 58. He was the one that stayed out the absolute longest here, so should have the freshest tires, should have the most amount of fuel, and should have a top 10 spot, which he does. Chad Jones came in on lap 53, running in 12th now. We'll try to make the pass on Michael Matta. And speaking of making a pass, Austin Call has gotten up into the 4th position. So Call matching what has been a recent high for him, P4, and again, that was last week at Nashville.
Austin Call 1 position away from getting to the top 3 here. 4 laps to go. Don't know if he's going to make it here. It's going to be very close, as you see. The 44 is in his sight now. If he could just get around the 44, get a top 3, it'd be an incredible finish here at the Brickyard for the 18 of Austin Call out of Spring, Texas.
See, it doesn't look like a long way away. It's only half a second. But boy, when you're in one of these cars with the amount of laps you have remaining, it feels like an eternity. It feels like you're never going to catch him. And that's where you get into these issues of running a little bit too hard, making a couple mistakes, putting yourself in the outside wall, trying to make up that advantage, or trying to make up the deficit. As Steven Johnson trying to click these last couple of laps away. There you see the difference between these two and what they have been able to do over the last couple of laps. Austin Call reeled in 0.6 of a second the last time around. See what he does this time by with 2 laps to go. Reels back only about 1/10 or so, but he's got a lot bigger a taste of the draft right now. Oh, it hits the wall. See, exactly what I said. You're trying to close that gap, and into the wall you go. Just running it a bit too hard.
Keeps it clean out of turn 2. Gonna have to see what he can do here on this back straightaway.
Just a little bit behind them, Maxwell Caldwell has caught up and passed Justin Lewis. Lewis now down to the 6th position. I'm surprised that these two, both Lewis and Johnson, have not run out of fuel by this point. So that's a miracle in and of itself. As we have 2.5 miles to go here, Johnny Wood Jr. out in front. Again, looking for his first win since round 5 of the season. That's Jason Crumley behind him getting loose. And what a race this 750 has had.
It's been an incredible race. If you asked me earlier on if the 750 of Johnny Wood Jr. would have won tonight here at the Brickyard, I would have said probably not. Just because, I haven't seen him up front lately. But, I mean, once again, he won the pole. And like I said earlier in the qualifying runs, he wins the poles, yet he comes out, executes well, gets a win. He's done that at Pocono. He's done that at Motegi. Now he's doing it here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So here he comes down the front straightaway. Johnny Wood Jr. wins at the Brickyard.
Johnny Wood Jr. takes his 3rd win of the season here at Indianapolis. Barrett Flo comes home second. Austin Call does beat out Steven Johnson to finish in third. Green flag from lap 20 all the way through, and again, stunned that the 44 and the 7 did not run out of fuel.
That actually shocked me. I for sure thought they were going to be out.
I did as well. Let's see if we can get our top 3 in here as we await the arrival of Johnny Wood Jr. into the chat. There he is. Burning it down here. Or at least getting ready to, as we will, first of all, yep, here he is. So let's now bring in our race winner, Johnny Wood Jr. And Johnny, boy, what a race you had here tonight. Strategy fell in your lap. How did you get it done tonight?
Yes, it did. Yes, it did indeed. I took 2 tires on that last stop, hoping to kind of jump around Barrett on that one, and it kind of worked out. And running down the leaders, that was, mighty passing Justin. I was like, please don't kill us both, please. But he done a good job kind of holding it there. I kind of like that kind of racing.
You said you took the 2 tires on the last pit stop. How was the tire wear here tonight? Because we saw, Johnson and Lewis were hanging on to you guys on 40-lap-old tires earlier on in this race. It didn't seem like the tires wear all that much.
Yeah, that's kind of what made me make the decision of taking two on the outside, because after running those 40 laps and seeing that they didn't take the tires on, was it lap 20, I believe. Hold on.
We go to Bristol Motor Speedway next weekend. What are your thoughts going to the short track in Bristol, Tennessee?
I'm normally not pretty good. Bristol. Sorry, I'm trying to mute some of these drivers.
You're good.
I'm not usually pretty good in this thing at Bristol, but I'm gonna do some testing this week, see if I can't get a top 5, see if I can keep my points going. I know I'm somewhere in the points. I missed 3 races. So what I'm trying to go for is just some top 5s.
Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, after that first little interaction, that first stint, I had Justin beating the fenders out on this thing, and he did pretty good. Kind of kept me in the game there.
All right, there is your race winner here tonight. 3rd win of the season. Johnny Wood Jr., congratulations.
Thank you.
And with that, we will move now to our 2nd place finisher. That would be Barrett Flo. And Barrett, you got outdone on the pit strategy here tonight. Final stop, Johnny Wood Jr. took 2, was able to leapfrog you. Think you would do it different if you had the chance?
Probably not. I felt like I was probably better on 4, and so it just worked out. We were running pretty close lap times, and felt like maybe on a longer run I was just a little bit better, but not on that last pit stop. It just worked out better for him, and we were kind of slow getting on the pit road and getting off, so that kind of screwed us too.
This is the first time you've been on the podium since your win at Michigan earlier on this season. Going into the final couple of races of the season, how does this, how much of a boost does this give you in the final 2 rounds of the year?
I think we just kind of need to calm down a little bit, and maybe we can finish some of these things in a better position. Patience is kind of the key, and some of those other races we had really good cars, but a little impatient in certain situations. So just be patient, and hopefully we'll finish out the year strong.
Speaking of one of those next races, that would be Bristol coming up next. What are your thoughts going into the short track?
Well, there's no patience there. It's just a crapshoot. So I like Bristol, but anything can go at Bristol. So it is what it is.
Anybody you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, thanks to the Sunny Cup League, and I thought all the guys that I raced around were raced really clean. A couple guys gave me a couple positions. Johnny did a great job, so thanks to all those folks.
All right, your second place finisher here tonight, Barrett Flo, but congratulations.
Yep, thank you. Appreciate it.
Now off to our third place driver. That would be Austin Call. And Austin, a solid run from you. Only had you had 8 laps on the pairing of the 44 and the 7. Just didn't seem as though you had the overall pace there towards the end. Was it just a bad set of tires, or did you run it off a little bit too early?
I felt like I wasn't. I felt like I had the speed, but I ran it off. I definitely ran it off just way too early. Trying to reel them in, keep distance to Johnny, and I was still racing for the win at the time, and just didn't really process that. Hey, it's probably not going to happen today, in time. But I mean, I'm happy with the top 3, especially since I didn't have any short run speed. So thank you for not bringing out any cautions. Yeah.
This is your third podium of the season, first one since Iowa. What are your thoughts going into these final couple of races, Bristol being next, with another good finish under your belt?
I love Bristol. I feel like I'm always pretty good at the short tracks in this league. And then Atlanta, I feel like I can save tires pretty much with anybody, except for maybe Johnny. So I feel like those are 2 tracks that definitely play in my favor, and I'm hoping to finish the season off strong with 3 straight top 3s.
All right. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Obviously, I got to thank my family for watching all these races. I'm pretty sure they're watching it downstairs instead of football. I have no idea. So, and then I got to thank my grandma. She watches all these races. She's already congratulated me on this race. She watches everything, and I obviously shout her out every time. So, hi, Grandma.
All right. Austin Call, your third place finisher here tonight, bud. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And as we mentioned, we were going to bring him in during the next caution. Unfortunately, that caution never came. That would be our 10th place finisher here tonight, Ronnie Hurst. Ronnie, you have been running with the race sponsor, J&M Group Industrial Services, on your car all season long. I'd like to give you a little bit of a platform and a little bit of a moment here to talk about what your company does and what services they provide.
Thanks a lot, Frank. I appreciate it. J&M Group Industrial Services. We're located in Southeast Michigan. Hands down, the absolute best CNC machine repair service company in the country, probably. Unfortunately, for the rest of the country, we only go to Michigan and Ohio. But yeah, that's what we do. We work on all the machinery that make a lot of parts for these cars that we simulate on this game here. We keep the machines running from GM. A lot of aerospace companies, machines break, they call us, we fix them. We're not talking just changing parts around, we're talking about the specific geometry of the machines and making sure that these things are accurate within microns. It's pretty great. We got a young group of guys, talented, very skilled, very proud to be part of the company. Love them. Mike Johnson, Art Murray, those are the 2 owners. Great guys, great to work with, and glad to be there.
How can, if somebody was looking for your services, how could they get a hold of you guys? And again, you said do you only go to Michigan and Ohio, correct?
Yeah, I mean, if we're pressured enough, we'll go elsewhere. We've been farther, but we try to keep it close to home. It gets a little difficult, spreading ourselves around the country. But we have done jobs in Texas and California, but South Carolina. But yeah, you can check out our website, www.jmgrp.net, jmgrp.net, or give us a call, 248-957-0006. You call that number, I'll pick up, and we'll do some business.
Well, Ronnie, wish you could have finished a little bit better here tonight. 10th place finish, not all that bad. But thank you very much for sponsoring the race here tonight, and we'll hope to be talking to you again within these next couple of weeks.
I appreciate it, Frank. Thanks for everything you guys do.
And that right there will do it for us here tonight. And Daniel, another solid race in the books here at Indianapolis. Only 2 cautions, long green flag run to end this race out. Worked out very nicely.
Worked out very well for most of these drivers tonight, having long green flag runs. Only 2 cautions during the night. We did see fuel and tire strategy come into play. Unfortunately, we did see the 7 and 44 lead a few laps here, especially the 7 first half of this race, and looked like was going to be the second half too, but unfortunately their pit strategy did not end up in their favor. It ended up in the 750 of Johnny Wood Jr., who won the pole and won the Brickyard here tonight. So congratulations to the 750 of Wood. Now we move on to the last round here for the SCL Winston Cup Series, and that is the Bristol Motor Speedway, the last great Coliseum. We go from a big track, 2.5-mile track, all the way down to another half-mile track where we're going to see some great short track racing.
And one of the biggest tracks to one of the smallest. And by the way, in that point battle, Justin Lewis was the highest finishing of those drivers in the championship points battle. So it should be a little bit of a points gain for car number 7. We'll take a look at the finishing results here for tonight's race. Johnny Wood Jr. collects his first win since Pocono round number 5 of the season. Barrett Flo, Austin Call, Steven Johnson, Maxwell Caldwell, your top 5. Justin Lewis, Trevor Dalton, Mike Peters, Brendan Kornoyer, and Ronnie Hurst, your top 10. Michael Matta, Chad Jones, Eric Schaus, Raymond Kimmel, and Lilith Peters coming home in your top 15. Again, Lilith Peters had that pit exit penalty that really set her back. She finished a lot worse off than she should have here tonight. Jeremy Flanagan coming home as the last driver on the lead lap. Jason Crumley, Zach Lockett, Jack Sanders 1 lap down, 17th, 18th, and 19th. Jonathan Casebeer 3 laps down after his big crash on lap 16 earlier on tonight. Matthew McMeekin did not finish this race in the number 41. That incident where we came back from break, he had pulled it off and was done after the race after that. And Derek Wegman did not start this race here tonight. So that will do it for us here from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. For my broadcast partner, Daniel Paulus Jr., I am Frank Marchese. Thank you very much for making us a part of your evening. We will see you next week for the Tony Trapasso Memorial 500 at Bristol Motor Speedway. Until then, remember, as you walk down the road of life, please don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.